think your endless capacity to forgive makes you an honorable person. You believe that when someone hurts you and immediately bursts into tears, giving them a second chance proves you are the bigger person. But the painful truth is, you are actively embracing emotional parasites because elite manipulators have learned to mimic the exact vulnerability your mind needs to drop its defenses. Listen carefully, because the social landscape is shifting rapidly. The unspoken rules of power are changing, and the window of opportunity to build an impenetrable psychological armor against fake empathy is closing faster than you think. What I am about to reveal in this video is not public knowledge. It is a highly guarded breakdown of how covert social predators use your pity as a weapon to map out your insecurities and keep you at the bottom of the hierarchy. If you choose to click away right now, you are making a fatal choice. You are guaranteeing that your internal power, your time, and your status will remain permanently drained by toxic people who view your forgiveness purely as free, exploitable labor. Every single day you operate with this weakness, you are bleeding leverage. But if you stay until the very end, I will hand you the exact psychological blueprint to completely destroy your savior complex, identify a fake apology instantly, and command respect through the asymmetry of silence. Let's get one thing straight. Nobody respects a willing victim. You grew up being programmed to believe that if you are nice and always show compassion to those who claim to be suffering, the world will reward you with unbreakable loyalty. That is a massive lie. The brutal reality of social hierarchies is that people do not value what they can manipulate effortlessly. Every time you shrink yourself to wipe away their fake tears, you are quietly negotiating away your power. You broadcast a loud message that your temporary discomfort is more important than my permanent respect. In the dark psychology of human interaction, that is an open invitation for relentless exploitation. Your empathy is your fatal flaw because it makes your reactions predictable. In the game of power, predictability is social death. The illusion of remorse. Let's look at how elite predators actually operate in the shadows. Covert narcissists and social manipulators do not come at you with a weapon drawn. They come at you with a smoke screen. They operate like highly evolved hunters who have cracked your specific psychological code. Human manipulators reflect your deepest, most silent desires to be a savior. They identify your pathetic need to fix broken people, and they feed it just enough to get you completely addicted to their drama. They simulate absolute remorse and fake vulnerability simply to draw your energy in. Once they know you are terrified of being perceived as cruel or unforgiving, they own you. Ignorance of this Machiavellian tactic mathematically ensures your permanent status as an obedient pawn in their game. The darkest trick in human behavior is the illusion of suffering. When a toxic person realizes they are losing control over you, when they see the cold logic in your eyes and know you are about to walk away, they do not argue with your facts. They bypass your logic entirely. They deploy a fake apology perfectly calibrated to disarm your rationality. They cry. They talk about their traumatic past. They talk about how much pressure they are under, how nobody understands them. Suddenly, the focus is no longer on the horrible thing they did to you. The focus is entirely on how much pain they are currently in. Because your ego is wired to feel valuable when you are helping someone, your mind registers this performance as a genuine plea for help. You drop your guard. You start comforting them. You begin to defend their toxic behavior to other people just to prove your loyalty. You are trapped in a cage of your own making, built entirely by your fear of looking like the bad guy. The darkest secret of toxic relationships is that the predator doesn't ever need to chain you to the wall. They offer a fake illusion of emotional collapse, and your own desperation to be needed builds the iron bars of your mental cage. Your pity is not a virtue. It is a pathetic coping mechanism designed to hide your paralyzing fear of setting a real boundary. The dark architecture of guilt. One of the most ruthless strategies these operators use against agreeable people is the contrast principle of weaponized guilt. We know from the psychology of persuasion that human beings judge the difference between two things presented one after another through the contrast principle. Manipulators understand this flawlessly. They will make a massive, toxic mistake. They will lie to you, betray your trust, or sabotage your work. But the absolute second you confront them with undeniable proof, they burst into a catastrophic emotional breakdown. The contrast is jarring. You walked into the room ready to demand respect, but you are suddenly faced with a sobbing, collapsing mess. The contrast principle flips the reality of the entire interaction. In a matter of seconds, you go from being the victim of their betrayal to feeling like the cruel abuser who is making them cry. This is the dark architecture of guilt. It is designed specifically to make you apologize to the exact person who just betrayed you. You start softening your tone. You end up doing something you never wanted to do. You forgive them without them ever taking real accountability, simply because the sight of their tears looked so overwhelmingly pathetic in comparison to your righteous anger. You need to see this tactic for exactly what it is: pure, calculated exploitation. And you recognize that their sudden emotional collapse was a setup designed to manipulate your sense of fairness. You owe them absolutely nothing. A trick does not deserve your compassion. They also use the illusion of uninvited debts. Covert manipulators exploit this rule by giving you a fake vulnerability. They will confess a fake secret, offering it to you as a gift of trust. Because your ego is starved for deep connection, your mind registers this as an unforgettable debt of intimacy. Suddenly, you feel a deep obligation to repay them with endless patience. When they treat you like garbage weeks later, you excuse it. You are paying back a debt that was completely fabricated to keep you compliant. The predator's radar. Your constant need to be the hero is turning you into a disposable pawn. Human beings are governed by the intense need to fit into the group and be seen as socially valuable. Society teaches us that the strong must protect the weak. But when you apply this instinct indiscriminately, it becomes a deadly virus. You start believing that if you do not sacrifice your own peace to save a toxic person, you are fundamentally worthless. By shutting down your cold rationality just to please the herd's definition of kindness, you hand total control of your life to covert manipulators who specialize in playing the victim. To hold true power, you must completely detach your self-worth from your ability to fix other people. Every time you back down because someone starts crying, you are writing the instruction manual on how to destroy you. Covert manipulators use fake tears as a dark radar to test your emotional armor. In the wild, predators test the perimeter of the herd by making small movements to see which animal flinches. Toxic people do the exact same thing. They will create a minor crisis out of thin air just to see how much energy you are willing to drop to come to their rescue. If you rush in, abandoning your own schedule to comfort them, you fail the test. You have signaled to their radar that your boundaries are made of paper. If you forgive them the moment they show a single tear, you are mathematically guaranteeing your permanent status as their obedient puppet. Any of you watching this are trapped in relationships or jobs where you were promised respect and value, only to have it stripped away the moment you committed. They gave you an inflated sense of their own potential to secure your absolute loyalty. You tell yourself they're just having a hard time right now. This is a pathetic lack of a spine, disguised as noble empathy. The moment you realize your desire to be the savior is forcing you to stay in an exploitative environment, you must cut the cord. Escaping the savior complex. So, how do the top 1% of operators completely detach from this trap? How do they spot fake tears, stay cold, and command respect without seeking validation? They kill the savior complex. In the marketplace of human interaction, your attention and your empathy are your most valuable assets. If you give them away to anyone who manufactures a crisis, your value plummets to the bottom. People only respect what is difficult to obtain. When you make your emotional support, your time, and your forgiveness scarce, their perceived value skyrockets instantly. The individuals who command the highest status are the ones who do not give their empathy freely. They guard their focus as if their life depends on it. If you want people to value you, you must become intimately comfortable with the art of strategic withdrawal. This is not about hiding in your room or becoming a heartless monster. It is about removing your emotional availability from anyone who has not earned the right to have it. Right now, your empathy is dangerously cheap. You give it to anyone who cries, anyone who claims they are a victim. To break the curse of people-pleasing, you have to treat your empathy like high-grade currency. People are motivated by the thought of losing something than by gaining something of equal value. When a toxic friend tries to rope you into their endless drama by turning on the waterworks, you withdraw. You don't argue, you don't debate, you don't explain why you can't help. You simply become unavailable. Weak people are utterly terrified of social friction. They will tolerate any disrespect to avoid a confrontational silence. Elite operators embrace friction. They use friction deliberately to test the hierarchy and see who actually holds the power. When you stop being the savior and start being real, you will introduce heavy, uncomfortable friction into your relationships. Let the friction burn away every toxic connection in your life. The people who actually belong in your reality will respect the new boundary, reclaiming your absolute power. When someone challenges you, betrays you, and then uses tears as a shield, your immediate reflex is to soften your stance. You rush to fill the silence. You bleed massive amounts of energy trying to control their emotional state. The truly powerful do the exact opposite. When they are tested with fake vulnerability, they deploy the asymmetry of silence. They speak less than necessary to maintain absolute superiority. Silence is the most terrifying weapon in dark psychology because it provides zero information. It creates a massive, uncomfortable void, and human beings are psychologically terrified of voids. When you don't react to their tears, you force the manipulator to sit in their own awkward, aggressive performance. You deny them the emotional supply they were hunting for. When someone cries to manipulate you and you immediately offer comfort, you have entered their game. You have given them exactly what they wanted, proof that they control your emotions. But when you respond with cold, unbroken eye contact and absolute silence, the game stops. Power shifts entirely to you. They throw a theatrical performance, and you don't even blink. By not caring enough to validate their fake sadness, you instantly project the aura of someone who is fundamentally above the manipulation. You communicate, without uttering a syllable, that their theatrical display is so utterly transparent that it does not even warrant the energy of your vocal cords. This destroys a covert manipulator more than any clever comeback ever could. This is the ultimate psychological transformation. You must stop seeing yourself as the designated healer in everyone else's movie and start realizing that you are the ruthless director of your own reality. If someone creates a mess and then cries about the consequences, that is their heavy psychological burden to carry, not yours. You must build an impenetrable armor of self-reliance. You respect your boundaries before you respect their fake tears. You have a critical choice to make right now. You can continue to be the smiling, exhausted savior that everyone uses as a dumping ground and nobody respects. Or you can make the definitive decision today to kill the savior inside you. If this painful truth hit you exactly where it needed to, drop the words "fatal flaw" in the comments right now. Draw a permanent line in the sand. Take back the power you have freely given away. Hit the subscribe button to master the exact dark psychology tactics the elite use to dominate. Stay cold, stay silent, and never apologize for your power.